Helen's retirement felt like a half-empty pallet until chaos gifted her a spark. Sorting through attic junk, arthritic fingers brushed against a paint-crusted brush, its bristles stiff with decades of neglect. Same age as her, 65, and just as forgotten. Auckland's winter light slanted through dust motes, spotlighting it like some cosmic wink. Lit. Next week, she stumbled upon a community art fair flyer, vibrant, demanding. No useless golden years nonsense here. Just a shot. Gripping that brush, Helen mixed resilience. Helen's retirement felt like a half-empty pallet, until chaos struck in form of a spilled coffee mug, its brown tide swallowing her pristine calendar. That sound, ceramic shattering against tile, had haunted her since childhood, a reminder of mistakes too messy to fix. Now, staring wreckage, 65-year-old fingers trembled. Not from fear of broken things, but from quiet terror of becoming one herself, discarded, gathering dust like her mother's and used paintbrushes in that old Cowreywood box. Auckland's winter light slanted through window, nudging her toward art supply shop down road. Inside, a clerk with rainbow hair handed her a brush, its bristles stiff with possibility. Helen hesitated. What if she'd forgotten how to make beauty after decades of balancing ledgers? But first strokes on paper were clumsy, like a toddler's steps, awkward, then lit with unexpected joy. Weeks later, her kitchen table vanished under watercolors of Rangitoto Island dawn, its volcanic curves mirroring her own relearned boldness. When Community Art Fair flyer appeared library, Helen's pulse did a jig. Submitting work felt like standing naked in Queen Street, but she channeled her mother's old mantra, better cracked glaze than empty kiln. Opening night buzzed with chatter and clinking glasses. A stranger lingered before Helen's piece, a brushstroke portrait of a woman mid-laugh, her wrinkles gilded by sunset. Feels like coming home, woman murmured. Helen's throat tightened. Maybe purpose wasn't something lost with a job title, but something waiting in spaces between strokes, in way art could stitch frayed edges into gold. She packed up her Cowreywood box that night, its brushes no longer relics but companions. Outside, a mynah bird sang off. Helen's retirement felt like a half-empty pallet, until chaos struck in form of a rogue paintbrush. One Tuesday, while shuffling past an Auckland community center, she tripped over her own sensible shoes, sending a stray brush skittering across polished linoleum. A woman with rainbow-streaked hair scooped it up, grinning. That's a sign, love. Come paint with us. Inside, sunlight pooled over mismatched easels. She clutched her borrowed brush, stiff as a newbie surfer gripping a board. 65 years young, yet her hands trembled, not from age, but unfamiliar thrill. Mentor Jan, a former corporate strategist turned abstract artist, nudged her toward a canvas. No rules here. Just feel. First strokes were wobbly as a foal's legs, but colors bled into something raw, alive. Weeks blurred into a rhythm of experimentation. She traded mahjong for mixing cerulean with cadmium, discovering layers beneath her own hesitation. That brush became more than a tool, it was a bridge, connecting her to younger artists who craved her stories, to retirees reigniting dormant passions. Even a misstep, like time she accidentally glued her sleeve to a collage, turned into laughter, proof perfection wasn't point. Then came challenge, a lit summer art fair silo park. Jan winked. Your turn to shine. Helen's stomach flipped, but she channeled nerves into bold, swirling pieces, memories of Coromandel beaches, of her mother's lavender sachets, all rendered in defiant strokes. Opening night, strangers paused her booth. One woman, silver-haired like her, traced a finger over textured waves. This feels like coming home. Standing there, Helen finally grasped what that first stumbled upon brush meant, not just creation, but connection. Retirement wasn't an epilogue. It was a fresh canvas, waiting for her own colors. And Auckland's art fairs? They were just beginning. Helen's first attempt painting post-retirement looked less like abstract expressionism and more like a toddler's fever dream. She glared mess, muddy greens, wobbly lines, and almost tossed whole thing. But something in that stubborn streak, one that once made her argue with a fax machine until it surrendered, flared. 65 wasn't too old to suck something new. Auckland's art fairs became her secret classrooms. She lurked near booths, studying how artists layered colors like they were whispering secrets. Back home, she attacked canvases with same grit she'd used to outmaneuver corporate mergers. Progress was slow, messy. One piece ended up in compost bin, accidentally prophetic, her neighbor joked. But each stroke chipped away quiet dread that retirement meant fading into background. Then came flyer for a community art show. Bold letters screamed, "No experience necessary, but enthusiasm appreciated." Helen's pulse did a cha-cha. Submitting meant risking pity nods or worse, silence. But that paintbrush in her hand, sticky with cerulean, felt like a dare. She signed up. Prepping her pieces was a comedy of errors. A cat walked through one drying canvas, paw prints now dubbed organic texture. Another got rained on during a frantic dash to car. Yet, standing in gallery on opening night, surrounded by strangers tilting heads her work, Helen realized fight wasn't about perfection. It was about showing up, wrinkles, wobbles, and all. When a teenager pointed her stormy seascape and said, "That's lit," Helen grinned. Maybe retirement wasn't an ending. Maybe it was just mixing new colors. Helen's retirement felt like a half-empty palette until chaos splashed color back into her world. One morning, staring blank canvas in her sunlit Auckland kitchen, she grabbed a paintbrush like it was a lifeline. No more dithering. No more someday. 65 years old, and she was done waiting for permission to make messes. Her first strokes were hesitant, shaky as a newborn foal. But with each swipe, something loosened inside her chest. Blues deepened into ocean waves she'd watched from Mission Bay. Gold shimmered like pohutukawa blossoms in summer. She painted memories, not perfect, not precious, but hers. Weeks blurred into a whirl of acrylics and stolen hours, until a flyer for a community art fair caught her eye. Local Creators Showcase. Her pulse kicked. What if? Signing up required more courage than she'd expected. Hands clammy, she almost backed out twice, until she imagined some smug 20-something curator dismissing her as just another bored retiree. Hell no. Creator slapped down her entry fee with a grin. Let them scoff. Setup day arrived, her heart hammering as she hung kaitiaki, a riotous tangle of seascape and memory. Nearby, a spiky-haired gallery intern eyed her work, lips pursed. Cute. Helen's smile stayed plastered on, but inside, she seethed. Cute? She'd bled onto that canvas. Then crowd flooded in. A toddler pointed, giggling her happy waves. A tourist lingered, murmuring in Italian. Then flash. Someone snapped a pic of her beside painting. Woman barely noticed until her phone buzzed hours later. A local influencer had posted her work, 65 and absolutely killing it. Found this gem Farrah Helen's got next. Comments exploded. Who is she? That texture. Spiky-haired intern reappeared, wide-eyed, offering free framing. Woman bit back a laugh. Victory tasted sweet. Standing there, surrounded by murmurs and flashes, she finally understood. This wasn't an ending. It was a beginning, bold, messy, gloriously lit. Paintbrush still in hand, Helen winked her reflection in a nearby window. Game on. Helen's retirement had felt like a half-empty palette, until chaos splashed color back in. That first art therapy session left her fingers smudged, her mind buzzing. By week 3, she'd turned her garage into a studio, neon paint splatters decorating her favorite apron, and occasionally her cat. 65, she discovered acrylics could outshine spreadsheets. Months later, her brushstrokes birthed something bigger. A local art fair invited her to display work, not just hers, but pieces from her new crew of silver-haired creatives. They called themselves Bloom Collective, a nod to late blooming brilliance. Helen guided shaky hands, coaxed out hidden talent, laughed over wonky watercolors. Her once lonely afternoons now hummed with shared purpose. Opening night lit up Auckland's community center. Strangers paused Helen's vibrant seascape, murmuring that's artist, as she grinned, paint still under her nails. But her proudest moment? Watching Shy Margaret, 78, sell her first ceramic bowl, a lopsided, glorious thing. Crowd clinked kombucha glasses, kids doodled in corner sketchbooks, and Helen realized this wasn't just art. It was a rebellion against invisibility. Her symbol had grown, no longer just a paintbrush, but a bridge. Between generations. Between loss and what's next. Between used to be and hell yes, still am. Grab a brush, paint your next chapter bolt.